Dream is one of the biggest Minecraft content creators on the platform. But even beyond that, Dream has transcended Minecraft and into the realm of pop culture, rising in popularity and growing to have millions of followers on almost every major platform. Now, I know you might be thinking, so what? There are a ton of people who grow mass followings on social media. Why make a video on this guy? You see, while he was growing his fan base, he never once revealed his face. Basically, he only made limited appearances with his signature smiley mask in pictures and on video. This has led many over the years speculating who this man truly was, trying to leak his personal information to get a clue, and uniting many on the internet to try and gather any evidence that would help give a hint. Was he a celebrity in disguise? Was he a survivor of a tragic event that had affected his facial features? Was it multiple people playing a single role? Who was under the mask? It seems that the internet would never truly know. Until this week, when Dream announced that he would be doing a face reveal video. This caused so much anticipation on the internet that even the YouTube Twitter account itself was counting down the hours until this happened. And when it happened, it broke the internet.
Oh!
Wait, you're frozen right now. I have no idea what I was expecting.
So, who was under the mask, and what did the face reveal reveal about ourselves? All that and more is coming up right after this. It is said that Stan Lee, one of the creators of some of the most beloved Marvel characters, said that the reason he created Spider-Man is because he believed it would be inspirational to everyone and anyone, that they could see themselves in some way as Spider-Man and connect with the hero all the more. And based on the boatloads of money that No Way Home, the latest Spider-Man movie, brought in, I would say, yeah, it worked. It worked so well, it got an extra re-release with like 15 minutes of extra footage, and people are still going to go back to see it after watching it multiple times in the theaters. So it's not a matter of if this works, but why does it work? Why does it work for Spider-Man and for Dream? What is it about each and every one of us that makes us so curious and so invested that a 5-minute video about a face being revealed brought in over 30 million views in just the first 48 hours? And even Ludwig, another big YouTube creator who reacted to this face reveal, broke his previous live stream numbers and reacted to 150,000 people who were watching his stream all at the same time live. While I think there are a number of different directions this conversation can go, I want to start with what I believe is the most important one, and that is that we all long to know and be known and be a part of something bigger than ourselves. What do I mean by that? One of my favorite passages of all times comes from Ecclesiastes, and I think it helps us understand best what I'm trying to say here. So let me read it and we'll break it down. He, God, has made everything beautiful in its time. Also, he has put eternity into man's heart. Ecclesiastes 3:11. This passage is showing us that God is the creator of all things, everything from the sea to the sun, moon, and stars, and even you and me. And when we are created, we are made in the imago Dei, that is the image of God. What does that mean? Not that we're all some type of mini gods or goddesses or anything like that, but that first off, we are different from the rest of creation because we are made in God's image. And two, that we are created to desire to reflect the image of who God is, whether we acknowledge that God exists or not, mainly in ways like in our desire to be creative or enjoy creativity, whether that's in a book, movie, music, or here on YouTube, all different forms, all because it reflects the reality of a God who is a creator and an innovator. But also that we are relational beings with relational tendencies. We desire to have deep and close relationships with other people, even the most introverted and extroverted people, or regardless of whatever your Enneagram or love language is. We all want to experience a love that is real and authentic, a love that sees us for who we are, the good, the bad, and everything in between, and is still willing to care and give and receive. That is because we believe, again, we are made in the image of God. And maybe you're thinking, well, isn't God like one being? If he created everything, including the angels, how was he really always relational? And that is where the understanding of the Trinity comes into play. That we believe the Bible shows us that God has never been alone, but that for all eternity, he has had the Godhead, 3 in 1, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. One God, 3 persons, and the relationship they have has been one of perfect unity and love, so much so that we to this day try to model friendships and romances in shows and movies, and even our own friendships in communities and fandoms, all based on the same perfect sacrificial loving relationship that we find in the Trinity. Think of it this way: in Philippians, another part of the Bible, it says that when Jesus came to the earth, that he was lacking nothing. Can you imagine that kind of relationship and fulfillment where you don't need anything more? You don't have a desire for anything more, not more approval, not more self-care or validation. But how does this theological lesson help us understand this whole dream face reveal situation and why we care so much about it? Well, oftentimes I think for all of us, we feel like aliens in this world we live in. We feel out of place or alone and disconnected, and want to believe our efforts and works matter or are used to build something greater beyond ourselves. We yearn to understand our place in the universe, but most of the time, we can't make any sense of it. This is where that Spidey sense would really come in handy. Okay, last Spider-Man reference in this video, I promise, because with great power comes great responsibility. Back to that main passage, that God is the one that when he creates us, puts eternity into our hearts so that in our longing and searching and confusion, we will seek him. If you've ever asked a Christian to hear their testimony, often hear them talk about a God-sized void in their heart, a longing for something more, something greater. Maybe even you yourself have experienced something like this, and we try to fill this God-sized void with everything and anything: grades, popularity, relationships, money, you name it. Yet time and time again, we see that nothing fits perfectly. It's like a missing puzzle piece we know that we have and we know is out there somewhere. We just don't know what it is. I think this is where often we place people like Dream to that position to try to fill. That for many who like Minecraft or just like his personality, feel that in their searching, in their loneliness, and in their yearning for more, they discover his YouTube channel or whatever channel you want to fill in the blank with. And because we don't see his face, it's easier to live vicariously through him. His success becomes our success, his challenges our own, his pain our pain, and in the hours watching and listening, a bond grows. It feels like there is a relationship that matters and is important, even if it's just one through a screen. This develops over time and can grow stronger, but even the best content creators can't fill that God-sized void in each and every one of our hearts. Eventually, the content isn't as exciting or fresh or as frequent as we would like. And we look for something more beyond that, something else, something beyond just the videos we look to. We look to things like the next mystery, like who is behind the mask. Maybe that will help us feel closer to him and strengthen our bond and finally help us understand our purpose and fill that God-sized void. But as much hype as there was around this whole face reveal, it was met with mixed reviews and thoughts. And I think because people were hoping that it would do something it was never meant to do. You see, in our hearts and minds, we built it up to be this thing that will help us grow and understand and learn and be closer to finding our purpose or filling that void. Now, knowing what he looks like didn't change anything though for any of us, besides learning that little bit of information now. Our situations are still the same. Our circumstances still the same. That yearning in us still remains. And this is true whenever we buy more stuff or try to acquire new things like fame or position. We in some way hope deep down that these things will change us for the better, but they don't. That's because these things were never meant to do that. We can't expect something that's external to take care of something internal, especially spiritually speaking. The only way we could ever hope to experience true everlasting joy, grow in patience and in self-control, that it isn't based on our own manufactured efforts and fill that God-sized void, is with a God-sized answer. John 15:5, Jesus proves this by saying, I am the vine and you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. What is this fruit, you might ask? Well, it's some of the things I just named a bit earlier and more. But to give you a full list, it's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, and self-control. I don't know about you guys, but I know in my everyday life, even though I'm a pastor, I can always use a bit more of all these things. Just ask my wife. I don't think I've ever met someone who has said that they have enough self-control for one lifetime, or wish that they had less joy and less kindness because it's just so annoying to have so much. But these things, the passage says, can only grow in us as a fruit of the Spirit. And that only happens if we are connected to Jesus. Otherwise, Jesus is pretty clear that we can do nothing about that situation in us apart from him. To create real everlasting fruit requires a real everlasting answer. Doesn't mean you can't find a moment of happiness when you get a promotion at work or fall in love with someone. But the beauty of this fruit is it isn't based on your circumstances or your mood. It's not based on your effort or anyone else's, but found and developed by being connected to the true vine. This ability to connect to the true vine isn't just one for the morally righteous and upstanding, but available to each and every one of us as the free gift of God. We don't have to wonder our purpose or our place, but that God makes known to us where our true home is, what our true purpose is, and invites us into a real relationship we all long for with the Godhead that fills that God-sized void in a way nothing else ever can or will. This is why Jesus died in our place on the cross, because we are all sinners, people who are willingly breaking God's standards and failing to meet them even when we try. And because of that, we rightfully deserve punishment of total separation from God. Unable to save ourselves and unable to discover our own purpose is why we are in need of a savior. Someone to take our punishment, and that is what Jesus does on the cross. The one who knew no sin bore our sin so that we could have a direct relationship to God the Father. You see, that's the whole point of the gospel. It's not about what we do, but what has been done for us so that no one, not even me, could boast. The Bible shows us that if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. This means we don't just think these nice thoughts, but that we actually follow them up, that we really believe it by taking actions, by turning away from and repenting from the things that we know we need to and that God convicts us of in our hearts, and instead connect ourselves to the one true vine. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video and some of my other videos. This channel is really picking up, so thank you guys all who are watching, and especially those who are making it this far into the video. There is so much more we can talk about on this subject, and we will continue this conversation over in our live stream. So make sure to check the page and click to get notified to join the live conversation, especially if you have questions on what we just talked about. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because we are so close to our first big milestone of 1,000 subscribers. And once we hit it, we will be doing a 24-hour live stream raising funds for these two awesome organizations that help kids. So help us help others. And if you enjoyed this video and want to hear about a testimony of an atheist YouTuber who realized he had a God-sized void in his own heart, make sure to check out this video right over here. But until next time, guys, know that you are valued and loved, and I'll see you soon.